Hey everyone, this is Ryan from TEIA and TEIA Cafe. I'm going to be doing an update on some of the changes that have been pushed into the TEIA.art, our main website of the community. So that was Robert Monroe, nice piano music. There's a few of them like minted on TEIA and Hikenunk from the Hikenunk days. So yeah, it's called Talk is Cheap, which is kind of funny because that's what I'm going to be doing over the next few minutes. But I just wanted to do a quick update on the features, and we're doing a lot. And so I'm going to kind of go through a lot of them quickly, but I do have like other posts or other videos talking about them more in detail. I just thought it'd be nice to do a little overview of like all the things that's been going on, you know? So this is the first thing that we did. As you know, we have a blogging system on TEIA now. So this uses the text markdown format. So it's basically the same contract as any other mint, any other art style or medium, you know. So it's just a little bit different. It's a different type of text format. So that's why we're calling it text. A lot of people didn't like the word blog, but really it's a blog, you know. Functionally, it functions like a blog, but it will also display text files. So it's a good example. A lot of these newer ones are the blogging feature, but we also do text mints, right? So this is a good example. This is text art, right? It has kind of its own thing, and it's a text plain, but it's also, yeah. So just a few things. So it should function like a regular blog, except that it's on chain, and you know that's kind of cool. There's also a bulletin, and this is for multi-sig members. So as you know, there's a core team of people here in TEIA that runs the multi-sig contract, and we do budgeting and all that kind of stuff. This is kind of like, if this was a company, this would be the board of a nonprofit. Like that's the equivalent of the traditional organization. So if they have something like official they want to post, or be like, oh, here's some updates, and we're going to be doing this. We probably post about TEIA sponsored events, which is coming soon as well. So yeah, so that will be here. And this one will be blended into the community one, but if you're looking for official posts. And so we're creating an admin layer to the whole site as well. So yeah, it's going to be a big infrastructure overhaul. Okay, and then this is the actual thing. You know, it should be pretty similar to any other mint. Here's some disclaimers you can read about. But the one interesting thing is that here, say, you know, when you're writing I like dogs. You're like, would it be nice to have a dog picture here? Doggo here. You know, this is an art site, so the interpretation of dog is pretty liberal. You know? So here's a nice dog picture, and I like dogs like this. But you can like embed images. You can also embed audio. Whoops. Let's just do Stereo Hopper. Rest in peace. Oops. Let's do, I don't know, music. Let's do my music. I don't know. It's a little weird, but it can also embed audio, and you can also embed video. And the nice thing about this is that it keeps all the metadata here, right? So this gives proper attribution to the artist that you borrowed from. And in the future, we're going to be building, updating our swapping contract to include things like royalty splits, attribution. Eventually, we'll probably get into using L2s to do like more advanced things like tracking, right? Like play tracking. And so this is just the beginning for a lot of stuff that's going to be built over the next couple months. And so, yeah, keep an eye on that. This is kind of the foundation of everything. This first, we can use this for blogs, but in the future, we can use this for other things too, like videos, video games, right? Because a lot of the artworks that we experience is like not just one artwork, but it's multiple artworks working together, right? So this is sort of like the framework for getting there. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so then the other part is the copyright marketplace. So this is live, which is why I'm talking about it. Everything here is already live. So we added a copyright marketplace here. And if you know about our work with TEIA Cafe, we've been working on this for a while, over a year. And so here you can actually, artists can register their works and then give licensing rights based on people who own NFTs. So if you buy an NFT and you own it, yeah, you can, is this working? Yeah. So it generates an agreement for you, and then lets you kind of like, say for example, this artwork here, you have the rights to reproduce. So if you buy this NFT, oh, it's not for sale. That's why. Okay. No, these are just tests. So they're actually I know Scott. So he's been testing it for us. So if it was for sale, and this is kind of interesting too, right? Because this is part of it too. Like, hey, this gives control to the artist whether what you can or cannot do as an NFT owner. And if he chooses not to sell, then that's his right too, right? So this gives complete control over the artist. It gives control over the artist to determine like what you can or cannot do with this thing. Now, so this is the marketplace, and this is the registration part. So it gets a little complicated. So if you want to know more about it, check other posts or other videos I made on this. But it has all the options here. You can also register multiple works here. Has a similar search. Let's see. I have to go to my thing. Because you can only register your own works, right? Which makes sense, right? You cannot register someone else's work. And checks on your wallet address to see if it's legit. So yeah. So this is the thing. This is just like a text post. And like, okay, well, I wrote this long thing over here, and I'm like, well, if I want to copyright this, or say I want to give rights to the magazine or newspaper, basically giving them permission to reproduce this right on their end. You can just like, okay, yeah. Right to reproduce, right to broadcast, you know, I don't know, maybe they want to read it out loud on the radio. I don't, maybe. So it's whatever you want, and you just add it. And then when you add it, it adds it to this agreement. So it's a lot of legalese and a lot of like information, but this is very important because it keeps track of what the artist has done, right? With the artist's intentions. So, word of this as a disclaimer is, and I have to say this, but I've talked to people who are looking for a legal framework around this. Currently, it doesn't really exist. There have been a couple of attempts to create one, but it's all done through private companies, so it's not standardized. And the courts, since this is such a new idea, the courts hasn't really come up with a standard how to handle these situations. So just FYI, you have to think of these agreements as between you and your collector directly, right? It's just like, this happens all the time too. You know, it's not under the table, but it is a drafted contract between you and your client, or you and your collector, or however you want to think of it, right? But it is still a legitimate form of documentation. So if something happens, you could take this to court because, you know, it's a signed paper between two people, and you know, so it's kind of designed to be that way. It's very hard to standardize this just because the laws are very different according to like location and context, and a lot of the rules actually like contradict themselves, which doesn't help, right? So that's why most of these cases, even in copyright, are actually done on case by case, even with standards. So I try to like tell people that. Some people don't seem to be comfortable with the fact that, oh, these rules are just kind of there, you know, but yeah, so even in real world, even in like traditional situations, like most of these cases are handled case to case. So, and it's not going to be that much different even with this. You know, that's my argument for it. But in any case, if the you know, the legal system catches up and eventually like, oh, here's this NFT licensing standard that everyone is using, or at least a group of people are using, we can just like port it in here, and you know, so that's the plan. But for now, it works for what it is. So yeah, just go check it out. And I think that's it for now. We'll be doing a lot of updating in the admin side, like I mentioned earlier, because we're adding, you know, an administrative layer to the whole site. There'll be admins, there'll also be moderators, and it's all controlled by this multi-sig. And you notice this is on a separate site. We're actually porting this into the main site as well over the next couple months. So keep an eye on that. All right, so I think that's it for now. But yeah, if you want to check on the messaging system, that's on a different video. But yeah, that looks pretty promising as well. So, okay, let's see you in the next one. Okay, take care.